Hello everyone, and welcome back to Blue Web Network. Today, obviously, it's the three of us, and you'd be surprised to know. Well, the thing is, we don't really have a release schedule anymore, but you probably won't have if you do watch the network sort of religiously. Even you probably wouldn't expect a video like this to come out. That's because we're having a massive change of pace at the minute. And I'm going to be completely honest in my heart of hearts. The reason, what I mean by change of pace is that I think we're experiencing a very similar situation, or have been for the last month, leading up to the start of chapter 2 and then following its opening. That I'm in a similar situation, at least personally, and I think these guys can both agree that they're in a similar situation. But me most of all. That I was in May 2022, in a very similar situation to that, where burnout is the tip of the iceberg, and I just completely had a meltdown really, and I think a lot of you who watch this network will probably remember that back then. It was a very dark hour, and I hit a very similar roadblock. Even after the release of Order, I've hit a very similar roadblock, and honestly, the idea is I think I've handled it a lot more maturely than I did last time. And the thing is that because it's happened before, and I'd like to think I'm far more self-aware of a person, us collectively have made a very conscious effort across the last week or two to jam on the brakes, because putting it as simply as I possibly can, we will be in a terrible situation if we didn't jam on the brakes. We have not been able to garner many new recruits, either on camera or off. We're in a similar situation where I think all of us, otherwise one of us would have said, is we've just thought that more and everything we've been doing it would equal quality and growth, and that is not always the case. And the biggest issue of all, which I'm only realizing in the last week, is that I'm finding that an awful lot of stuff that the network does is done because I feel obligated to do it for either growth or for quality, for the brand, rather than the very simple fact of whether or not I enjoy it or not. And I think it's or whether we enjoy it or not doing it. And I think there's a big focus on what gets done based on the scaffold of what it is we actually love to do and get up in the morning to do. That needs to be a focus from now on, and rather than things that just don't make sense when you actually look at it in the context of our lives as to why we even getting up in the morning to do this. There's that is a question that we need to ask ourselves, and to that end, I think two things need to stand. One, BGL News is not really going to be a reference anymore. Neither is any kind of release schedule that you're going to be made aware of. And on top of that, we'll just do what we think we can do for the network in whichever way we can, and what happens. We don't really want to have a culture anymore where we just make promises and they're not able to keep them. So we just won't make promises at all, and whatever happens. And we're going to be far more nonchalant about this. We're not going to treat this like an organisation. I think treating it like a thing that we just love to do, and then maybe an organisation status will come second. But that it needs to, at its heart, be something that we like to get up in the morning and do. Secondly, I think every project or any bit of news that was announced at the opening ceremony, I think that is either redundant or not particularly true. And with that, I think every project that we currently have in the works, and every project that you do know about, as of this point forward, will be quote unquote cancelled. Obviously, a lot of what we are currently doing is in active development and is actually quite far along, even if Damage's video essays, they are cancelled, but not, because until the script is finished and locked down and ready for production, we aren't going to announce them again. Once they are ready, then you'll know about them, and we go into production at least before you know. I think that is a very safe way to go, and a way that I don't make promises, we don't make promises that we can't keep. That we really go into content the way that is the way that's fair on everybody, and that we can feel really excited and enthusiastic about what it is we're coming to share, because not only is it a secret, but it's done right. And to me, I think with podcast coming up hopefully soon, there's a lot we can delve into this and what this time's been like and fighting through it all, and all this is stuff we can talk about on a later date with podcast and various other mediums. But for me, right now, this was short to me, and I didn't have an awful lot to say on the matter, so I'm going to take a step back now, and that's what I have to say. So if there's anything you two would like to add to that, that's go ahead, fill your boots. I don't know who wants to go first.
I think it's just a case of we want to make sure that we're focusing fire, if that makes sense. Make sure content we're making is actually something that we are putting all of our effort into, instead of a bunch of projects that we have to break off little parts of ourselves to make.
Yeah.
Because that is what's contributed to the burnout. And I think this burnout wasn't even a case of, oh, we were in the middle of 5 or 6 projects. It was the fact that we were like looking like at, oh, 5 or 6 projects were about to start.
Yeah.
And that, especially for a new year, new chapter of our lives, and stuff that's in our personal lives, it was a thing of, is this thing really attainable? And I think we caught ourselves before we got to the point where we would actually be burnt out. And
we literally shot for the stars, and we failed there. We didn't even make a start.
Yeah.
It was.
But I think what you can expect is a more single track production schedule of just videos that will be coming out, and just focusing fire.
Yeah, that's true.
I also think it's important for us to hold back a bit, because one, our mental health is just as important as creating content and understanding when, we can make something, and not to push ourselves too hard, or else we'll lose passion and interest for what we're doing in the first place. And as someone like me who is disabled, knowing that, I'm not going to be swamped and overwhelmed is also probably good for me, good for all 3 of us. We are also in uni, and I don't think that's helped us much either, because we've got work that we have to commit to there, and as much as all 3 of us want to commit our entire lives right now to the network, it's not possible due to uni. So we want to be able to create some content that is quality, rather than creating lots of content and it not be up to standard.
Yeah, that's I think that really does sum it all up, to be honest. It's a case of this should hopefully be the very last time on camera we collectively, especially me, I'm talking to you guys directly and saying that I'm sorry for not delivering again. The thing is, a big part of what this is all even about, and again, this is a story for another day, is I'm disappointed in myself, and I'm disappointed in the process and not delivering on what I promise. And it's not just a case of asking myself, why am I so upset about disappointing something that's not actually giving something back to me? Why do I care so much about letting the process down? And then the biggest thing is, why do I also feel like I have to put so much unnecessary work on myself? Both questions, again, for another day, but it's just such an unnecessary burden that none of us deserve at all, and we are in many ways even putting it on ourselves. So I think it's definitely something that needs to be eradicated from this day forward. And as of now, then, in that case, we don't actually know what the first project of Chapter 2 is going to be. The first project since Older. We don't know what that is going to be now. But whatever it is, when it comes, it'll be ready. That is what we know. And what happens. I think every single video needs to stand on its own, needs to be its own thing, and the train will just chug along and keep on moving. And whatever we can do for you, we will do. We're not going to attach ourselves to promises anymore, because it's not right on you, on us, on anybody. So Blue Web Network will continue. It will continue on strong, but we have quite literally just eradicated the same problem that shut us down for 4 months in summer of 2022, and that is more than burnout. It is a crisis of faith. And we have averted that by finally, after about 3-4 years, putting on the damn brakes. And it needs to be done. So we're doing it now, and we hope for the better of the network in this decision, and that your faith in us, those of you who do watch, and even some of you who will come later who've watched to this point, that your faith in us has been somewhat restored. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but in the consequences of this call. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say on the matter. And if you two are happy, then I think we're signing this off.
Yep.
Yeah. So again, we're not really pushing this video very much for quality. Even is the irony. It's just been us sitting here chatting with literally the panel content set up. But I think the video needed to be a discussion that was had, and that we share with you. We share this discussion with you guys, because I think it's very important that you guys know where our heads at and what direction we're going to be going in. But yeah, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and yeah, we'll see you all trying our very best very, very soon. Right, bye.